Now today we are going to study about ideal gas equation. Ideal gas equation can be obtained by combining Boyle's law, Charles' law and Avogadro's law. This equation shows the simultaneous effect of pressure and temperature on the volume of gas. On combining Boyle's law, Charles' law and Avogadro's law, we get volume is directly proportional to Nt upon P, or V dash is equal to Rnt upon P. So from this you can get PV is equal to nRT, where R is the proportionality constant, or it is also called as the universal gas constant. Now rearranging the equation, we get PV is equal to nRT. Now this, if the volume of a certain mass of gas changes from V1 to V2, when the pressure is changed from P1 to P2, and temperature changes from T1 to T2, then for initial condition we can write that P1 V1 is equal to nRT1, or P1 V1 upon, you bring T1 to this side, so P1 V1 upon T1 is equal to nR. Okay, and for final condition we can write P2 V2 is equal to nR T2, or P2 V2 upon T2 is equal to nR. So nR being on both the sides, you can write P1 V1 upon T1 is equal to P2 V2 upon T2. So this equation P1 V1 upon T1 is equal to P2 V2 upon T2. This is called as ideal gas equation. Okay, and it is obtained from combining Boyle's law, Charles' law and Avogadro's hypothesis. Next we come to relation between density and molar mass of a gas. Now as we know that PV is equal to nRT. Okay, so PV can be written as W upon M RT, or P can be written as W upon V RT upon M. Bring V towards this side. Alright, so instead of W upon V, you can write D over here for density. So P is equal to dRT upon M. Now again P1 instead of V1 you can write D1. P1 upon D1 T1 is equal to P2 upon D2 T2. Okay. R and M, which I used over here, they are both constant. Alright. So this is the relation between M is a molar mass. So molar mass does not change 1 mole of a gas. So this is the relation between density and molar mass of a gas. It can be represented by this. P1 upon D1 T1 is equal to P2 upon D2 T2. Now see, lifting capacity of a gas filled balloon. When a gas is filled in a balloon, and if that gas is lighter than air, it rises up due to difference in the density of gas and air. Then the lifting capacity is mass of air minus mass of gas which is filled in the balloon at same temperature and pressure plus mass of balloon. In an open vessel, pressure and temperature are constant. Therefore, we can write for an open temperature N1 T1 is equal to N2 T2. Okay. Next we come to Dalton's law of partial pressure. Dalton's law says that the total pressure of a gas in a system is the sum of partial pressure of each component gas. So the partial pressure of specific gaseous element or compound is the pressure due to that substance alone. So mathematically you can say that total pressure is equal to P1 plus P2 plus P3, where P total, this is the total pressure of the mixture, and P1, P2, P3, they are the partial pressure of components respectively. Now, partial pressure of a component is equal to the mole fraction of component into total pressure, and the pressure of a wet gas is equal to pressure of dry gas plus pressure of water vapor or aqueous tension. Okay, so remember that, because in wet gas there is moisture present. Next we come to Graham's law of effusion and diffusion. You know, diffusion is the spontaneous mixing of molecule of one gas with that of another gas. And what is effusion? Effusion is the movement of gas molecules through a very small hole into a vacuum. So according to Graham's law, at constant temperature and pressure, rate of diffusion or effusion of a gas is inversely proportional to the square root of its density. That means R is proportional to 1 upon square root of density. Okay, where R is the rate of diffusion of a gas and D is the density. Now, for two different gases, suppose R1 and we'll take the rate of diffusion as R1 and R2. So R1 will become equal to 1 upon under root D1. R2 is equal to 1 upon under root D2. If you combine these two, you will get R1 upon R2 is equal to under root D2 upon D1. Or R1 upon R2 is equal to square root of 2D2 upon 2D1. So this 2D2 is equivalent to M2, because you know molecular weight is equal to 2 into vapor density. So 2 into density is equal to M. So you can write here M2 upon M1. Alright. Now comparison of time of diffusion taken for the same volume of two gases. If the volume is same, then R1 upon R2 is equal to, you know, V upon T1 divided by V upon T2, because volume of both the gases is same. So V will get cancelled out. So this you will get as under root D2 upon D1, which is equal to M2 upon M1 square root, or T2 upon T1 can be written as D2 upon D1, which is equal to square root of M2 upon M1. So instead of R1 upon R2, you can write here T2 upon T1. Alright. If you compare volume of gases that diffuse at the same time, suppose gases whose rate of diffusion is in the same time. So that means the time is the same and volume is different. So you will get V1 upon V2 is equal to square root of D2 upon D1, which is equal to square root of M2 upon M1, because here the time has become the same, so time gets cancelled out and you are left with this. Now if pressure is not constant, then in that case R is directly proportional to 1 upon under root M. So this implies that R is directly proportional to pressure. So what you get is, if you combine these two equations, that rate of diffusion is equal to directly proportional to pressure and rate is indirectly proportional to molecular weight. So you will get R1 upon R2 is equal to P1 upon P2 into under root M2 upon M1. So these are the various conditions of diffusion, keeping the volume, changing the volume for temperature or pressure. So you can use these equations in your numericals. Next we come to behavior of real gases. Now of the known gases, none of the gases obey the gas law equation. P, that is PV is equal to nRT under all conditions of temperature and pressure. So they are called as real gases. They tend towards ideality at low pressure and high temperature. Carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, ammonia, they are soluble in water, they are easily liquefied. So they show larger deviation than gases like hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, etc., which are insoluble in water and not easily liquefied. Convenient way of showing deviation of gas from ideal behavior is to plot compressibility factor. Compressibility factor is given by Z. Z is equal to PV upon nRT. If you plot PV upon nRT against pressure, for ideal gas equation, for ideal gas, Z is equal to 1. But real gases have Z is equal to 1 at low pressure and high temperature. Alright. So Z is greater than 1 shows that it is difficult to compress the gas as compared to ideal gas. In this case, repulsive forces dominate. See, this line over here, this is Z is equal to 1. This dotted line is for the ideal gas. But most of the gases, they are either below it or they are above it. They are above it, that means compressibility factor is greater than 1. And if they are below it, compressibility factor is less than 1. So Z is greater than 1, it means that it is difficult to compress the gas as compared to ideal gas. And in this case, repulsive forces dominate. And if Z is less than 1, it shows that gas is easily compressible as compared to ideal gas. And in this case, attractive forces are dominant. Okay, now let us study about the causes of. Similarly, if you see pressure and volume graph, for ideal gas, it is like the dotted line, and for the real gas, there is a slight deviation. Alright. Now, what are the causes for deviation from ideal gas behavior? Two assumptions of kinetic theory were found to be faulty at high pressure and low temperature. Under these conditions, first, when the pressure is high and temperature is low, force of attraction or repulsion between molecules may not be negligible. But kinetic theory of gases has assumed that this force is negligible. Second is, volume occupied by the gas may be so small that the volume occupied by molecules may not be negligible. So, for the real gases, another equation was given, and this was called as van der Waals equation. He modified the ideal gas equation in 1873, and he did two corrections in the ideal gas equation. The first correction was correction for volume. Now, at high pressure, molecules are very close to each other and the repulsive forces become significant. So the repulsive forces cause molecules to behave as small but impenetrable spheres. Volume occupied by molecule also becomes significant because instead of moving in a volume V, they are now restricted to volume V minus NB, where NB is approximately the total volume occupied by the molecule themselves. Okay, and B is a constant and it is termed as excluded volume. Therefore, corrected volume for n moles of a gas is given by V minus NB, because V is the total volume that is in the container, and from that total volume, there is a particular volume which is occupied by the molecules, and only in the remaining volume they can the gas molecules can move about. Okay, so the corrected volume is V minus NB. Similarly, there was second thing which van der Waals did was correction for pressure. At high pressure, molecule of gases are very close to each other and they do not strike the wall of the container with full impact because they are dragged back by other molecules due to molecular attractive forces. The pressure exerted by real gas is lower than that which is exerted by an ideal gas. So what they're trying to say is that the observed pressure is less than the theoretical pressure that ideal gas should exert. So hence the corrected pressure becomes P plus small p. So the correction term small p is proportional to the density of gas near the wall and the density of gas inside. That means P is directly proportional to D square. Now again D is directly proportional to N upon volume, where N is the mole of gas. So P is directly proportional to N square upon V square, or you can say that P is equal to A N square upon V square, where A is a constant depending upon the nature of the gas. So corrected pressure becomes P plus A N square upon P plus A N square upon V square. So this is the pressure correction. So substituting the pressure correction and the volume correction in the ideal gas equation. The ideal gas equation was PV is equal to nRT. But the corrected pressure has become P plus An square upon V square and V has become V minus NB. So now the van der Waals equation has become P plus An square upon V square into V minus NB is equal to nRT. Now unit and the significance of van der Waals constants. Now first is for A. P is equal to An square upon V square. So A is equal to PV square upon N square. So the unit becomes P is atmosphere, volume is liter square, and N is upon mole square, or bar dm 6 mole minus 2. Greater the value of A, larger the intermolecular force of attraction among the molecules. Okay, so smaller the value of A, lesser will be the intermolecular force of attraction. Next is about B. V is equal to NB. It is volume, na? So B is equal to V upon N, that is liter per mole, or dm cube, decimeter cube upon mole. This is the SI unit. Now its value is a measure of the effective size of gas molecules. Value of B is 4 times the actual volume of the molecules. Next, so these are the van der Waals constant and equation. Next is liquefaction of gases. If you increase the pressure and decrease the temperature of a gas, increase the pressure and decrease the temperature of the gas, it will get converted into liquid. Now there are certain constants which are called as critical constants. Critical constants, they are defined as the temperature above which gas cannot be liquefied. However, high pressure you can apply on the gas, but above a particular temperature, gas will not be liquefied. The pressure required to liquefy the gas at critical temperature is called critical pressure. Okay? That temperature above which gas will not get converted into liquid, that is called as critical temperature. And the pressure that is needed at that point to convert the gas into liquid, that is called as critical pressure. All right. The volume which is occupied by 1 mole of gas at critical temperature and critical pressure is called as critical volume. Now suppose if critical constants of CO2 are critical temperature is 31.1 degrees Celsius, critical pressure is 73.9 atmosphere, and critical volume is 95.6 centimeter cube per mole. Critical constants can be calculated by the formula Tc. Tc is critical temperature is equal to 8A upon 27 Rb, where A, R, B they are all constants. Pc, critical pressure, is equal to A upon 27 B square, and Vc, critical volume, is equal to 3B. A gas which is below the critical temperature, it is called vapor. Substances which are liquid at room temperature, their gaseous state is called vapor. For example, water vapor, alcohol vapor, etc. Next is Boyle's temperature. This is the temperature at which a real gas behaves like an ideal gas over a particular pressure range. So Boyle's temperature is given by Tb is equal to A upon Rb. Okay, so this is your chapter, States of Matter. Again, in this chapter, numericals will be asked. So please try out the numericals. Different formulas of Charles' law, Boyle's law, gas equation, ideal gas equation, van der Waals constant. So on these formulas, the question numericals will be put up in the exam. So practice them properly. Okay.